love it. And I think if you give it a shot, you might love it too. And it keeps me going, and I love it. And I think if you give it a shot, you might love it too. And it keeps me going, and I love it. And I think if you give it a shot, you might love it too. And it keeps me going, and I love it. And I think if you give it a shot, you might love it too. And it keeps me going, and I love it. And I think if you and it keeps me going, and I love it. And I think if you give it a shot, you might love it too. And it keeps me going, and I love it. And I think if you give it a shot, you might love it too. And it keeps me going, and I love it. And I think if you give it a shot, you might love it too. And it keeps me going, and I love it. And I think if you give it a shot, you might love it too. And it keeps me going, and I love it. And I think if you give it a shot, you might love it too. And it keeps me going, and I love it. And I think if you give it a shot, you might love it too. And it keeps me going, and I love it. And I think if you give it a shot, you might love it too. And it keeps me going, and I love it. And I think if you give it a shot, you might love it too.
Oh, first I want to watch Arsenal versus Everton, bro. Let's go.
Highlights brought to you by HSBC, opening up a world of opportunity.
स्वागत अभिनंदन इस्तकबाल
The hell? English? Which profile is this? I'm trying to find the profile. 85530155850. Hmm. OTP. Okay, let's watch something, bruh. Premier League. Let's watch our boys first.
Highlights brought to you by HSBC, opening up a world of opportunity.
Hello from Jim Pravan and Matt Holland for Arsenal against Everton in week 30 of the Premier League campaign. A 22-year wait that could be into its final weeks. 8 games to go, 7 wins for glory, 1 imminent step forward or the loss of their insurance. This month's matches come at a relentless pace and amidst European excursions and cup dates from Mansfield to Wembley. 3 crucial league dates hemmed into the packed itinerary. Arsenal have won the first 2. Anything less than a perfect march could scupper their march towards their ultimate goal. They've scored 21 goals from set pieces this season. That said, no side have conceded fewer than Everton. Taken short for Madueke, through a crowd, but not by Pickford. Back in from Madueke again. Keane getting that one away. Dainty delivery from Eza. A little bit of juggling. Calafiori. Down over the bar. Now to Madueke again. He's got it in. Gay only steering it half clear. Zubimendi trying his luck. As will Saka, but he's dragged it wide. In from right, Zubimendi with a little flick. Saka, what a save! Stunning goalkeeping from Jordan Pickford. And you could tell what a good save it was, and he was frustrated to see an offside flag come up because he'll believe that he won't get the credit for it. Lovely turn from Njai, getting the better of Timber. Raya coming out, only paddling in half clear and then making a stunning second save. Back in from Mirabunan, Calafiori clears that. Arsenal asking for the ball to be put out of play because Timber is still down. McNeil not obliging, goes for goal and hits the inside of the post. And Njai can't follow up. Flag up against him anyway. Everton inches away from taking the lead. This is Marino very significant as well at the moment. Here's Zirabunan. And it's Keenan Dewsbury Hall, good save. Raya beating it away from the on-rushing Beto, which was all important. But the better chances are from the visitors. In towards the near post, great little flick. Everton survive.
Michael Keane, I think, on the line.
Swept indeed, Raya coming out. It's back in from McNeil. Beto, can he get a shot in on the turn? Raya thwarts him, sticking out a foot to protect the near post.
What a foot.
Well, they had the best
Dude,
chance in the first
what
half.
a save.
And they've had the best chance in the early stages of the second as well.
Oh my god.
It's Calafiori. Keane's clearance back in from Calafiori. Saka! Oh, goalkeeper spilled it. Garner had the wherewithal just to check who was where around him, didn't panic, and got it away.
Jordan Pickford wanted a flag, thought Bukayo Saka was offside.
63 minutes, 0-0.
Rice. Oh, just wide. Brilliant attempt. Snapshot from Eberici Eza. Pickford grasped at fresh air, but he went just the wrong side of the post for Arsenal. 6 in the penalty area for Everton, and it is just wide. Michael Keane attacking it, got the touch, couldn't get quite a strong enough contact. Eza. Pickford got behind it, and the offside flag is up. 90
What a
seconds
shot.
of the 90 to go.
The crowd were getting frustrated, but that bravery got them out.
And he comes from Dauman. It's in! Victor Gyökeres in the 89th minute of the game. It does not matter how they come. It does not matter when they come. All that matters is that the goal materializes.
Bruh, the fingertip from...
Victor Gyökeres from the closest
He's
of
just
close
there, he kept
ranges.
his-
Late in the game. And the Emirates erupts. What
He
a
goes and
difference
hugs
Max
his guys
Furman has
and-
made since coming on.
Kai Havertz.
And the 16-year-old's moment of magic here. Sees Arsenal 10 clear at the top of the table.
That's fine.
Saka. Martinelli. Good save.
Save you'd expect Pickford to make, straight at him. Pickford's coming up.
In from Garner. Newcastle get it clear through Martinelli. And here comes Dalman. What an end this is going to be. Max Dalman, the youngest goal scorer in Premier League history. What an impact he's made. What a player he's going to be. What a story this is. Arsenal take it to the max. And look what it means for everybody here. Oh boy, has he arrived.
Dalman has made the difference. He's been decisive. It's Dalman delight around the Emirates. Take about. You have made the difference today. You've been absolutely outstanding. 22 years since they won a Premier League title. It's in there. It's in their grasp. It's in their hands.
Arsenal move another step closer. Arsenal 2, Everton 0.
Rice is looking at the spectacle.
Highlights brought to you by HSBC, opening up a world of opportunity.
I want to see Manchester City. Where's Man City, bro? Brighton, Sunderland. Where's Man City? Yeah, here it is.
Highlights brought to you by HSBC, opening up a world of opportunity.
Packed to the rafters this evening for a game between sides looking to escape the relegation zone and keep up the pressure at the top of the Premier League table. It is West Ham United against Manchester City under the lights in London. And it is Manchester City who get the game underway, kicking from right to left in the first half. Our referee is Michael Oliver. O'Reilly. Now it's opened up for Antoine Semenyo. Angles against Haaland. He'll have to go for the cross here, which is blocked behind for another Manchester City corner.
Yeah. Is that Erling Haaland's first touch of the game there? That one he's trying to fire across the 6-yard box.
Nearly a year since the last direct free kick goal, and that wait goes on as Marmoush sends it wide. That's a better ball in. Haaland was waiting, and it came to him too. And I don't think he was expecting it. Otherwise, he would have done a whole lot better, surely.
Yeah, I think Malik Diouf just in front of Erling Haaland there.
Haaland, instant control, but then lost it, although it's broken for Semenyo. Popped on to O'Reilly. Semenyo for Marmoush. He's got Bernardo Silva on the overlap. Bernardo Silva, oh, he scored! Wow. That is an absolute beauty from Bernardo Silva. What a moment of genius from the City man to break the deadlock just past the half hour. Well, there'll be questions about whether he meant it or not, but given some of the goals that he's scored in this time, I think you've got to say he knew exactly what he was doing there. Bowen's corner. Donnarumma hasn't got there, it's in! West Ham level. Mavropanos with the thumping header. Donnarumma came, didn't get to it. Mavropanos certainly did. And what a response from the Hammers.
Yeah. Great response. I mean, he's a giant of a goalkeeper, Donnarumma, but he comes flapping there and doesn't make contact. Look, Souček is disturbing him, but that's the perfect response for West Ham. That really is. Before half-time, to equalise, go back in level, was massive for them.
Away from Fernandes, and he's rampaging forwards. Was he tripped? He says nothing in it. Wan-Bissaka, nearly lost it in the bad area, has lost it in the bad area. It's Erling Haaland, laid off for Semenyo, who knows that he should have restored Manchester City's lead.
Yeah, he should at least hit the target there.
Rodri. Tez Nunes. Bowen. Castellanos back here for Thomas Souček. Good ball.
It's a really good ball in. Good numbers in there as well, West Ham there. Thomas Souček it was who found himself in that wide right position. That's a nice passage of play. Castellanos very close to getting.
15 minutes of the second half has elapsed without Manchester City really looking too lively. Haaland, nice control. Good save from Hermansen. Got it out from underneath his feet nicely enough, but not enough oomph on it to beat the keeper. Oh, free header, which is wide. In fact, it came off a West Ham player last. Rodri stood up nicely.
It's a great ball.
Doku is wild with the follow-up.
It's a brilliant ball in from Rodri. That it's Mark Guehi it was who made that run towards the ball, but just a fraction too late.
Bernardo Silva. Semenyo. Mateus Nunes. Well, City asked for a penalty. Michael Oliver says corner. Kept alive by Doku. Haaland!
There's his chance. That's the one he was waiting for. He peeled off really well there. It just doesn't quite make the connection that he was after.
Manson struggling. Mavropanos got the touch, and then Cherki certainly got a touch, and Hermansen got his gloves behind it.
Certainly he's nice and agile there. Good stop that, because that was a decent effort from Cherki.
Oh, has it gone all the way through? It nearly did again against Hermansen. He got a touch off the keeper. It will be a corner kick. Reinders. Doku. Doku's ball goes all the way across, and Hermansen is able to gather. And that might be Manchester City's last chance to win it.
Great run. Rodri runs to the near post. Phil Foden's behind him. Everybody misses it.
In comes the corner. Rodri's up there, could go anywhere, and goes into the midst of Mansa Manson, and the home fans celebrate. Okay, he tried to get a piece of it. Oh, could go anywhere.
wow.
It's over the top. Wow. Manchester City pass up a big chance to win it right at the end.
Oh, what a chance. Actually, the first one fell to Nico O'Reilly. He might have been in the best position out of them all.
Pep Guardiola said if Manchester City drop points, the title race is over. And they have failed to get the win here at West Ham tonight. Frustration for Erling Haaland and co. as Arsenal move further clear of them. But delight for West Ham in this instance, as a draw moves them out of the bottom three. Their recovery and renaissance under Nuno Espirito Santo continues. Real belief now that they can escape relegation. Full time then, West Ham United 1, Manchester City 1.
Highlights brought to you by HSBC, opening up a world of opportunity.
What are you guys gonna watch? Yeah, that's what I mean. You can watch, right?
Looking forward to a tussle between old rivals Chelsea and Newcastle. Referee Paul Tierney having a word in the ear of Reece James. Both these sides with late disappointments to deal with in the Champions League in the week. And Chelsea's world-famous anthem striking up. And the referee being ambushed.
I mean, unless it's a big cheer for the PGMO, I can't really see the reason for the referee being right in the middle of that. But of course, we've seen Chelsea do it in recent weeks. I'm sure there's some method in that perceived madness.
I think if I was the referee, I'd probably be declining to take part in that. baffling. Really hard to see the logic in it.
Dude, what the fuck was that? What the fuck did I just watch? Anyway.
What an end to that football game.
It was unbelievable. I think with all the time that we invest, all the effort, and all the commitment that we put to our passion, which is this incredible game called football, to experience those moments, the energy on the crowd, the happiness, the joy. And for sure, for many years, people will remember that I was at the Emirates that day when that 16-year-old kid took the ball in the halfway line and he went all the way through to score the goal.
The players didn't deserve that tonight. We put in a really good shift and done a lot of good things. Like it was just the nature of the goal. You know, Jordan gets a bit of it, should probably get more of it. But we mustn't forget how many great saves he's made for us, and it was just disappointing. I don't think we deserve to sort of go down to that type of goal.
A word from Max Down at 16 and 73 days old.
Yeah, it doesn't seem 16 when he's playing, but you see all the players celebrating with him, and yeah, he's amazing, and yeah, I'm so happy for him.
He changed the game. I mean, what he's done at 16, not only to score the goals, but how he accelerates every action, the decisions that he takes is just incredible. And he's made history today.
It looks like a title-winning game.
One more game, and that's what we had to do, and that was our duty and our dream today, and we managed to find a way to do it.
Expecting nothing else, but I tried. Well done today.
We will talk a little bit more about that. But for, 88 or so minutes, Ashley, you had crafted a really lovely piece of analysis on how well Everton were defending, and they did for almost all the game.
Yeah, absolutely. They nearly executed the perfect away plan again under David Moyes. They did ever so well, right up to, as you say, the 88th minute when it was just probably the only time they switched off. Arsenal are just on the attack.
That guy knows now. He's looking at Arsenal differently.
Our dream today, and we managed to find a way to do it.
Expecting nothing else, but I tried. Game.
One more game, and that's what we had to do, and that was our duty and our dream today, and we managed to find a way to do it.
Expecting nothing else, but I tried. Well done today.
He sees him as a
We will
title
talk a little
champion.
bit more about that. But for, 88 or so minutes, Ashley, you had crafted a really lovely piece of analysis on how well Everton were defending, and they did for almost all the game.
Yeah, absolutely. They nearly executed the perfect away plan again under David Moyes. They did ever so well, right up to, as you say, the 88th minute when it was just probably the only time they switched off. Arsenal are just on the attack. We've highlighted Dowman. Mikalenko gets a good tackle, but then he thinks his job's done. I don't know if he's expecting a long throw-in, but he switched off. They take a quick throw-in. Great ball in from Dowman. Hincapié at the back stick, and then, like all good strikers, he's in the right place. Jordan Pickford on his 350th appearance. Joe, I'm not sure. Yeah, you can talk us through that one.
I think David Moyes touched on it brilliantly, actually. Jordan's come. He actually gets a tiny little touch, and look, sometimes this touch you're going to see here is enough. It takes it off someone's head. This one hits Hincapié in the chest, over to Gyökeres, and look, that's not going to stay in Jordan Pickford's season. He's been absolutely magnificent. He was brilliant today, but unfortunately, he's got that one wrong. Gyökeres cannot believe his luck.
Why do you think he comes for it, Joe?
Because he's that kind of goalkeeper who wants to help his team. He's one of the main men for Everton. He's a captain on the day. He's a top keeper. I hate seeing that in the background because he's been so good this year. But that's the life of a goalkeeper. And Jordan will accept that, and I'm sure he'll be brilliant next game.
We saw Max Dowman's involvement in the first goal. He went even better and became the Premier League's youngest ever goal scorer at 16 years and 73 days. I mean, it's just incredible.
Unbelievable. And these are the kind of days that you just love the Premier League and you love football for situations like this. Everton are now pushing on. You can see Jordan Pickford in the box trying to get his head on things. That's a great header, by the way, from Gyökeres. And then this is just down to Max Dowman. He's got so far to run. Brushes off Mikalenko, a little bit of skill around Dewsbury Hall. Then he kind of eases up and then has a little bit of a panic. Sensible finish into the goal. And what an absolute brilliant moment for him. Can you imagine being his age right in about now and just realising, oh my gosh, I'm going to score my first goal at home. And then you see what it means. He just wheels off. And look at Declan Rice's face. I love that. The subs bench are all the way down, Joe. It's a brilliant moment, isn't it?
It's unbelievable. I think Downman's so composed. And he comes on and he believes in his ability. He's not surprised at what he's done. It's only when he sees the reaction and his teammates, he realises what a big moment that is in the Premier League. 1, in the Premier League as a history. 2, in the title race.
And if, you know, everybody alluded to it there, he doesn't play like a 16-year-old. He doesn't play like the Premier League's youngest ever goal scorer.
No, look at those numbers. You know, James Vaughan, 20-odd years he's been holding that record.
5 years before Max Dowman was born.
Well, there you go. That sums it up. But I've heard Declan Rice talk about him all the time, and it's just, you hear nothing but compliments. Played against Mansfield recently, a really mature performance. And like I say, when he scored that goal, he believed he was going to score that goal. He believed he should really put him all the time, and it's just, you hear nothing but compliments. Played against Mansfield recently, really about him all the time, and it's just, you hear nothing but compliments. Played against Mansfield recently, a really mature performance. And like I say, when he scored that goal, he believed he was going to score that goal. He believes he should be on that pitch, and that's not an arrogance, that's a confidence. I think we've got a real special player on our hands.
And it's not just the fact that he's a 16-year-old. It's about the decision that Mikel Arteta made to bring him on. And this has been something he's got consistently right as the season's gone on. I think Arsenal players have scored or assisted from the bench 21 times.
Hi everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge. Arsenal just won the league. I predicted they'd win the league before a ball was kicked. I'm entitled to my opinion. It's over. That league title is done. And we'll talk about whether they're the worst Premier League title winners ever and whether garbage football like that should win the league. I think that's ridiculous, by the way. But tonight has been massively significant in this title race. It's interesting because me and Robbie were predicting this yesterday, and I said West Ham win, which was more hope than reality. But even Robbie said draw, and he got it right. I think the hangover of Man City getting stuffed by Real Madrid, they never looked comfortable tonight. Erling Haaland was really quiet. The goal they scored was, you know, a brilliant goal, I think, I think he did mean it. But West Ham never really looked under massive pressure. I know their goalkeeper made a couple of saves, but I don't see, looking at the league table, it's a 9-point gap. There are 7 games to go for Arsenal. And when you look at their run-in, you know, Man City win their game in hand, beat Arsenal at the Etihad, and are still 3 points behind Arsenal. And Arsenal have got a better goal difference. And let's not forget, at that point, Arsenal will probably only have 5 or 6 games left, and they'd need to lose 2, basically, or lose 1 and draw 1. I just don't see it. I think Arsenal don't concede goals, as we saw again today. They don't concede goals. They always find a way, and I think it's over. I think it's over. I know Arsenal fans are going to be going, no, 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 and I get that. You've not won the league for 22 years. So you're not going to believe it till it's done. But I wouldn't sit here saying champions unless I believed it. And predicting they were going to win the league when no one else was at the start of the season is one thing. But actually saying they are going to win the league, I think that's something else. And look, I've got to say, I see a lot of people saying it's a disgrace that Arsenal are going to win the league, one of the worst leagues we've ever seen, garbage football. Arsenal are under no responsibility or obligation to entertain the world of football when winning the Premier League. That would be a nice to have. I think Mikel Arteta has made a conscious decision to play pragmatic / dull football to get over the line. For 3 years they've finished second, and in some of those years they've played really good football, but they've finished second. They've been labelled bottlers. Some of his own fan base last year were saying he shouldn't get this year. Some of his own fan base last year wanted him to be sacked. And some of his own fan base last year were saying if he doesn't win the league this year, he's got to be sacked. So that's a huge amount of pressure to come into the league and go, let's play open football. I think he's always had a good defence, and he's probably looked at it and gone, we're good at corners, we've got a good defence, let's keep it tight at the back and win games. And the only obligation he has is to Arsenal Football Club to make them title winners. Because in 50 years, it will say Arsenal Premier League title 2026. Yes, people might say they were boring, but I'm old enough to remember George Graham winning titles with Arsenal, and they used to go boring, boring Arsenal. It didn't bother them. They won the league, and that's what it comes down to. Of course, I would like to see the people winning the league play entertaining football, but it's becoming a little bit strange that it's like...
Mikel, have you come back down to earth yet?
Because of my job, you mean, yeah?
It was quite high.
I know, I've just been told. It was a phenomenal moment. We talked before the game to play with that relentless desire to win every action and to have the conviction with that.
Mikel, have you come back down to earth yet?
Because of my job, you mean, yeah?
It was quite high.
I know, I've just been told. It was a phenomenal moment. We talked before the game to play with that relentless desire to win every action and to have the conviction that we're going to find a way to do it. And the effort, the quality, the commitment that the players put in, it was sensational. And then he ended up in a manner that probably no one of us expected. And it was one of the best moments that I think we lived together at the Emirates.
We're bringing on Max Downs, one of the youngest players who's ever played for Arsenal. Bringing on in that moment where you're about to bring him on, what's going through your head and what was he saying?
Probably no head. I had a gut feeling, and yesterday was training and the last few days, and I had a gut feeling that it was a moment for him, and probably it's because he doesn't seem to be faced by the occasion or the moment or the context or the opponent. He just plays so naturally. He makes decisions to make things happen, and what he delivered, it was incredible.
Tom? Hi, Mikel. There's like moments in seasons, I think about Reece Nelson's goal against Bournemouth a couple of years ago, where you feel like those moments, do you feel like this is a really big moment?
It is big because you put so much passion, effort, hours into this, which is our passion. And when you turn around and you see the bench and those eyes just, with that happiness, that joy, that almost not believing what has just happened, it makes all the sense in the world for what we do and the difficult moments that we go through, and the reaction of the bench as well. When I see everybody so willing to and so genuinely happy about the team winning in the manner that we did it, it's so special.
Just quickly, I know there's going to be a lot of tension on Max and also on Victor for scoring the goal, but your other substitute, Derek Nketiah, who came on, his involvement seemed pivotal as well.
All of them. Gavi, Mosque has to come in when Jordan was out, and I think it's been the theme of the season. I think the impact all the finishes have played is the reason why we are here, basically. And that says a lot about the people that we have in that dressing room, because sometimes my decisions, maybe they are not right or they are not fair, but they take it in the right way with only one objective, which is to help the team to win.
Amy?
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
I just wondered what you said to Max before he came on. Is it more kind of instruction stuff, or did you say go play with freedom, go do your thing?
Go and do your thing and win us the game. the same with Victor and to Martinelli. I said these are the moments in the season
I believe
when something special has to happen, and he knows he has the ability. We just have to give him the opportunity, and he will deliver.
Does it have the opportunity to change the kind of emotional temperature within the squad? You know, you have
Makes
these
us
moments
champion.
that make you feel there's magic in the air, and you know it's been
What do
tough.
you do
for the last couple of months.
that makes us
Do you think that
champions?
this can change how the squad feels about themselves?
I think it's been incredible the last couple of months. It's been sensational. I mean, we are in every competition. We are competing in every single game, like it's the last one. And yeah, sometimes will be better, some other times exceptional, sometimes not that good. But that relentless desire to win that I feel in the team is just one of the best things that, in my opinion, this team has.
James, yes, again.
Yeah, you said it was a gut feeling to turn to Max. As a manager, have you had to learn to trust your gut?
I don't know. I think at the end, the decisions that you made have to be delivered if you feel them. If you don't feel it, I think it's not right. And you just have to see him train every single day, honestly. Some of the things that he does is like, he does it against these defenders, you know, in my opinion, are some of the best in the world. So he can do it against anybody else. And the doubt is always, yeah, but he's 16, and the crowd, and the pressure, and the expectations. But he doesn't seem to be faced very much about that. And he had an incredible moment to all of us.
Do you think you sort of trust your gut? Like, would you have made a call like that in your first year as a manager, maybe?
I don't know. Probably, I don't know, easy to say, I don't know. I've done it because as well, to be fair, I feel the same. The staff, they have so much trust on him. Or in Victor, or when it's Martinelli, or Ari Jesus, or Mosquera, you turn around and they're ready, and they're really desperate to play, and that's what we need.
Sam?
Yeah, just on Max's goal, like, he could have passed it, he could have shot from there. He just went past that player like he's been doing that his whole life. What did you make of that moment and that composure? And
for me, it felt like 45 seconds, you know, and I think it was really special because you could sense that, oh, it was building up, and you see there's no goalie there, it's going to happen, and everybody was lifting, and yeah, it was incredible. It was so loud, so energetic. What a moment.
On Max, in your eyes, what makes him so special?
Special because you could sense that
he could have shot from
there. You turn around and they're ready, and they're really desperate to play, and that's what we need.
Sam?
Yeah, just on Max's goal, like, he could have passed it, he could have shot from there. He just went past that player like he's been doing that his whole life. What did you make of that moment and that composure? And
for me, it felt like 45 seconds, you know, and I think it was really special because you could sense that, oh, it was building up, and you see there's no goalie there, it's going to happen, and everybody was lifting, and yeah, it was incredible. It was so loud, so energetic. What a moment.
On Max, in your eyes, what makes him so special, and how's he gained your trust in such a short space of time?
I think his character, his personality, and the fact that, as I said, that he doesn't seem to be faced by the pressure or his teammates or the opponent. And yeah, I've seen a lot of players with talent, but at 16, very few that can cope with that level of demands, probably.
Could we see him potentially start at some point?
Calma.
Clip this.
As your colleague said, let's come down to earth today and enjoy the moment, because it was intense and it was worth it, and we'll see tomorrow.
Okay, one here.
Can I just ask what you thought of Everton today? They made that really hard for you.
Very hard. Yeah, a really good side, really well coached, and yeah, every time they go in and around the box, you sense how dangerous they are, and they're very difficult to break down. And you play as well with the fact that the game, the longer it goes, you have the necessity to win the game and the will to win it, and you have to be calm. And I think the team showed a lot of maturity. The crowd as well, I think it was good today, to be composed and wait for the right moment and leave the players to make their decision where it was needed to deliver the moment. And yeah, at the end it was all happiness.
Okay, last couple. Miguel?
Miguel, just on that, is a moment like that all the better when the game is such a battle? I mean, what were you thinking just before the Gyökeres goal?
What I was thinking? Yeah. I don't know, I was pushing with every inch of my body, you know, to go to that goal, and somehow score a goal. We cannot demand those players to give everything and us not be there. You know, it's. I see them and how much they want it, and now we get all of us, the staff, thriving for them to try to help them.
And finally, Sam, I'm sorry.
Mikel, the game was going in one direction until you brought Max on. Individually, was that one of the best subs you've ever made?
Well, I don't know. Obviously, Victor scored the goal as well, so obviously his contribution and the way he speed up the game every time he got involved in the action, it was different, that's for sure. And as well, I think he created a different energy in the stadium.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. What's that?
Will you watch the City match?
Probably yes.
Will you re-watch Max's goal?
Okay, thanks for getting the work done in the background. Let me ask you a question though. Um, you have been doing this for the past 2.5 hours, 3 hours, right? Is this how long it's going to take for my clients as well, for my people who subscribe? We need to make this process faster, right? We need to figure out a way to get this done in like 30 minutes or something like that, right? So let's start working towards that direction as well. And um, we also need to work on our website right now, on the Braincast HTML website right now. So once I check these results and give you feedback, we'll start working on that. Clip this.
Great, we're going to get on to Galatasaray Liverpool in a second. You're in Glasgow on Sunday to take in.
was the sports bar's unbelievable. I went, you know, me and Cundy have been doing this for 2 years, right? You know, but it feels like all of a sudden.
Well, do you know it's become the appointment of you? It's become like, you know, when I was a kid, you used to like revolve your Christmas Day around the EastEnders or whatever. That kind of doesn't exist anymore. You don't have to be somewhere because we can watch everything on demand. Because of the sports bar, for the first time in my life for ages, I now have to be somewhere.
Yeah.
The second that the sports bar starts, the second that you hear the Oasis song play, you're like, oh, here we go. This is going to be brilliant.
I know where that mask is going to end up, though. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I can imagine a few places. And
that mask is doing the rounds. I've seen he's wearing it in the Redwood the other day. What's going on here? He's got a mask on everywhere. I'll tell you what, like, I've been ill for a couple of days, and I'm like, oh, get away from it. Next thing I'm seeing messages come through, pictures. Cundy's got a mask on. You had a picture.
I had a go on it. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
what's going on here? It's on.
Multitasking isn't a thing where you do many things at once, as in what people believe you could do in parallel. You actually cannot do that. That is not how multitasking works. What does, however, work is that you do things in sequence, and you kind of like go around in a circle, and you bounce between all of the tasks that you'd like to, fulfill, all the problems that you'd like to solve. And so, when you do this, your mental focus is stretched because you only have so much time in a day to dedicate to an almost infinite volume of problems if you're in a position where you have to deal with a large volume of problems. Because there will always be infinite problems. And it depends on how much you care or what kind of talent you have on how many of these problems are going to be your problem. Right? Because a lot of problems don't have to be your problem. You could find people that you could trust that can kind of like take on those problems for you. You know, that's what we call delegation. That's what you should be doing. But other times you'll just like find it's more efficient to do things yourself. In those types of cases, it is very difficult to kind of like keep a level head on things, because what you're focusing on are problems that are immediate to you, problems that you must focus on, and
tour.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I tell you what, it's just going to get worse because Tottenham's form.
Oh, mate, don't.
Every single time you get beat, it's just going to go bigger and bigger and bigger.
Don't, Rory. I said the other day, if Igor Tudor's in charge, if he carries on as manager, I'm not going to watch Spurs again. I ain't watching Spurs tomorrow.
You're not.
No,
I am.
I'm not watching.
Do you know Tottenham have become?
I refuse to watch it.
Tottenham have become like the team that I watch the most now. It's become the team that I can't miss. I know your fixtures inside out. I'm like, right, I need to be available to watch Tottenham. You know, there are some things in life that you just have to watch. I don't know, like, you know, I've heard about people having to Beatlemania. You know, when the Beatles played on top of the Apple building on Regent Street, you had to be there. When the Berlin Wall came down, you have to be there. When Tottenham play these days, when you know they're going to concede goal after goal after goal, you just have to be there. So I will be there, glued to the telly, and then the sports bar straight after.
I can't believe he's still in charge, Rory. I can't believe he's still in charge.
But he's only had 3 Premier League games.
No, but it's not the point though. It's the manner of the way he's dealt with the team, the way he's set up. We've got worse under him. You're asking for a manager to come in and change things. And listen, we've got some injuries and we've had some bad luck. I get that. But he's buried this team. He's an absolute fraud, mate. He's an absolute fraud.
Do you think they can sack him, though, after, 4 Premier League games?
He's gone after tomorrow.
If it goes wrong.
No, and obviously if we
I like that you don't even think there's any jeopardy in the...
No, he's gone. He's gone. We're gonna get pumped by Liverpool, and he's gone. 100% he's gone. He's an absolute fraud, mate. I can't believe we even brought him in.
Do you have any idea from there Like, do you know what you want to happen? Like, say it goes as you think. Liverpool end up scoring 4. Igor Tudor's sacked either on the spot or the next morning. What on earth do Tottenham do from that moment?
Well, you either the Harry Redknapp one's over, right? That was one that I thought genuinely would have been a right idea, or someone affiliated to the club. I think they've got to go with a manager, get someone permanent. I know they want to get Pochettino, but I just don't think you can. I think you've got to be very careful in terms of waiting for Pochettino, because things might change in the summer. You know, and he might go to a bigger club, he might go to a better club, he might be in a better position, he might win a World Cup. You just don't know.
The thing is, though,
and the problem is you can't get someone in who's an interim manager. You can't get someone in now to the end of the season who is actually really going to be someone that you'd want to kind of stay on, because it's desperate measures. Right, you go and get Sean Dyche, right? He might do a good job. He might keep you up. He's not manager you want next season at Tottenham, right?
No.
So,
but you're not going to get somebody, because there's also a chance that they're going to take a job and they're going to end up playing in the Championship.
Of course. I think, look, De Zerbi. There's been a lot of talk about Roberto De Zerbi. I think he would take the job now. I think you could get him on a proper contract. I think he'd be a manager that people would get behind. And I think if we went down, he would probably suffer it and go, all right, I'll do a season and get us back up. Job now, I think you could get him on a proper contract. I think he'd be a manager that people would get behind. And I think if we went down, he would probably suffer it and go, all right, I'll do a season and get us back up.
Welcome to the Huberman Lab podcast, where we discuss science and science-based tools for everyday life. I'm Andrew Huberman, and I'm a professor of neurobiology and ophthalmology at Stanford School of Medicine. My guest today is Dr. Matthew Hill. Dr. Matthew Hill is a professor of cell biology and anatomy at the University of Calgary. His laboratory studies cannabis and its effects on stress, its effects on feeding, and its effects on the behavioral impacts of cannabis exposure at different stages of development. The origin of today's podcast episode is a bit unique, so I'd like to share a little bit of that background with you. Previously, I did a solo episode of the Huberman Lab podcast about cannabis, the biology of cannabis, some of its medical applications and uses, as well as some of its potential harms. That episode came out several years ago now, and remains a very popular episode. It's had millions of views and millions of listens. Several months ago, we posted a clip of that episode to X, formerly known as Twitter. And Dr. Matthew Hill responded to that clip on X with criticism about the specific points made within that clip. Most notably, my discussion of the data that cannabis use can, in some individuals, cause psychosis. He also took issue with some of the specific points I made in that clip related to potential differences in the biology of the effects of different strains of cannabis, most notably indica versus sativa strains, and a few other points as well. Now, as somebody who's been in the field of science for several decades now, I'm very familiar with the fact that every field, every single field within science, has debates within it, controversies, and sometimes outright battles. And to me, that's part of what makes science interesting. It's an evolving process. It's something for which we should all be very curious to try and understand what we know, what we don't know, and try and get to the real answers. So right off the bat on X, I invited Dr. Hill onto the podcast, and he accepted the invitation. So today's episode is really a unique one in that, first of all, we cover an enormous amount of biology and clinical data as it relates to cannabis. Meaning today's discussion is not a debate. It is really an up-to-date discussion about how cannabis works. So we talk about THC versus CBD. We address the question of whether or not indicas versus sativas have different biological and subjective effects or not. We, of course, talk about the potential correlation, maybe even causation between cannabis use and psychosis. I think you'll find that discussion very interesting. And we talk about how cannabis relates to hunger, to memory, to anxiety, and to the treatment of anxiety. I'm certain that given the widespread use of cannabis nowadays, that you'll find the discussion to be both an informative and potentially useful one that could help guide decisions as to whether or not you or others should or should not use or avoid cannabis, as well as one that can simply inform about this very interesting compound. And of course, you'll learn a lot of neuroscience and biology along the way. Before we begin, I'd like to emphasize that this podcast is separate from my teaching and research roles at Stanford. It is, however, part of my desire and effort to bring zero cost to consumer information about science and science-related tools to the general public. In keeping with that theme, I'd like to thank the sponsors of today's podcast. Our first sponsor is 8 Sleep. 8 Sleep makes smart mattress covers with cooling, heating, and sleep tracking capacity. I've spoken many times before on this podcast about the critical need to get sleep, both enough sleep and enough quality sleep. Now, one of the key things to getting a great night's sleep is that your body temperature actually has to drop by about 1 to 3 degrees in order for you to fall and stay deeply asleep. And to wake up feeling refreshed, your body temperature actually has to increase by about 1 to 3 degrees. One of the best ways to ensure all of that happens is to control the temperature of your sleeping environment. And with 8 Sleep, it's very easy to do that. You program the temperature that will trigger critical full night's sleep. The Pilot automatic like drink that has everything you need, especially on hot. Again, episode relationship life. That's better health that it produces. Many people feel welcome. To get 10% now for my discussion, delighted to have you here because you're an expert in the biology of cannabis, a topic that many people are curious about for a variety of reasons. So just to kick things off, maybe we can get people up to speed on what cannabis is, a little bit about how it works in the brain and body to produce the various effects that it produces, and how some of that comes to be. And then we can dig into some of the nuance. I have a lot of questions about different types, if you will, of cannabis, the relationship to mental health, potentially to mental illness. We're going to drill into all of that. So just to kick things off, what is cannabis?
I mean, cannabis is a plant that has been around for some time. It's kind of got like a very rich history of use around the world for different cultures, for both kind of medicinal and spiritual and recreational purposes over several centuries. The plant has kind of become, I mean, in the West, it really wasn't a thing mainstream-wise until about the 60s. And then it became kind of introduced as like a drug of choice that a lot of people started using during the rise of the hippie era. And I think that was a lot of the time that cannabis got popularized. And then I'd say more recently, cannabis has, into the 90s and on, has become kind of a very heavily used drug by a large swath of people, ranging from teenagers on up. In terms of what it is inside it, I mean, it's a plant with a lot of very complex chemistry and biology behind it. So there's a lot of molecules that it carries in it. We call these cannabinoids. And they come in a lot of different flavors. But the main one that's the most important one when we talk about cannabis and what drives the kind of intoxicating and what I would refer to as psychoactive effects of cannabis is delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, or what we call THC. And that really is what dictates, the psychoactive and intoxicating properties of the plant. And so the amount of THC that is within the cannabis plant will influence the, how high a person's going to get when they consume it. There are probably 70 to 100 and some odd other cannabinoids that are within cannabis. Most of them are at pretty trace levels, and they vary from different types to cannabis from one another. But the other one that's had a lot of attention is cannabidiol, or what we call CBD. CBD is structurally looks pretty similar to THC, but doesn't behave anything like THC. It's not intoxicating at all. I'm not sure. I would probably say it's not psychoactive in the sense that people can't tell if they're on it or not. But some people still say it's psychoactive because people claim, it can affect anxiety state or mood state or other things. So in that context, maybe psychoactive is still somewhat appropriate of a word to use. And then there's a whole bunch of other things like cannabinol, cannabigerol, and these other minor cannabinoids, most of which we really don't understand any of the biology of. We don't know what they're doing. They may influence some of the effects of THC, they may not. But they're there, and they vary in their composition from, different flavor of different cannabis to different flavor. And then there's those other things called terpenes, which are kind of highly volatile compounds, but they're not specific to cannabis. They're found in tons of other plants. So this is a lot of which seems to contribute at least to some of the smell and the flavors of cannabis. So these are things like limonene, which, gives some cannabis kind of a citrusy odor or flavor to it. Pinene, which gives things more of like a earthy tree kind of smell. Beta-caryophyllene, myrcene, and these terpenes are also, some of which do have known biological activity, some don't, and they vary quite heavily across different kinds of cannabis as well. And again, there's some thought that they may be influencing some of the psychoactive or intoxicating properties of cannabis, but the reality is we really don't know a lot about them at this point. There's kind of some emerging work that's starting to come out now that kind of plays with, giving someone THC and adding in one other terpene or one other minor cannabinoid and seeing how it influences things. And so you can imagine with the plethora of molecules that exist in cannabis, doing this in a piecewise manner could take decades to kind of really get to a point where we understand all the interactive components of cannabis. But people tend to refer to this as like an entourage effect. That's kind of a phrase that gets used quite widely in the cannabis world. And the idea behind that is that if you took pure THC, and so there are some like distillate pens and things that exist out there now in the product market, which are basically isolated THC with trace levels of anything of other stuff, would be very different than if you had THC in combination with some of these other molecules and how they might influence how THC itself is working or not. So
fascinating plant. You mentioned the psychoactive effects. Some people listening to this and watching this presumably have experienced those psychoactive effects. Others perhaps have not. How could we describe for both groups what the quote unquote psychoactive effects are? You mentioned the higher the concentration of THC, the quote unquote higher someone will get, right?
Yeah.
The greater the intensity of the high. What is the high? And I know people are probably chuckling, saying, does Huberman not know because he's never done it? I mean, that's my own business. I just want people to understand what you mean by psychoactive effects.
So, I mean, the way that people would usually describe the intoxicating effects of cannabis is people often refer to it as there being some euphoria or some positive mood. Not on the same order as what people would describe with, say, cocaine or some other stimulants, but there certainly is some kind of positive aspect. I mean, if there wasn't, people wouldn't be using it if they didn't feel positive about it afterwards. There can be, other aspects in terms of changes in feeding behavior. People might find things funnier than they found things. It might change the way they perceive various environmental stimuli. But it can also, for some people, create a bit of a dissociative state to some degree where people might feel a little bit out of body. So it's kind of a complicated, intoxicating state to describe, I would say, because usually if someone's referring to something like a stimulant, they're just like, oh, people feel like they're God. They're like,
possibility everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're very happy and they're kind of jacked up. And I think with cannabis, the way people would describe it would be very different. It's like kind of an introspective state. You might be more aware of your bodily feelings and states that are going on inside you, your kind of internal state, but you also have like a different perspective on external stimuli. You might process information a bit differently, focus on things a bit differently. So it's kind of a complicated state to describe, I would say. Usually when people are assessing if someone's intoxicated, like the kind of lab work where people get someone high, they just kind of use what we call a visual analog scale, which is like a 1 to 100 or something, or 0 to 100, and say, do you feel high? Do you enjoy this? Would you say you feel euphoric? Is your mood elevated? So they're kind of scaling things like that. So I think that's more typically in a lab setting how you would define if someone's high or not from it. And this is why when people do studies with something like a placebo cannabis or a very low THC cannabis, you'll see kind of a scaling. So even if you give someone a placebo cannabis, if they think that they're getting cannabis, a lot of people still respond by saying they feel a bit high.
That's interesting. Is that true even if they've never used cannabis before?
I'm not actually certain if you are allowed to have someone in a drug study if they've never done something before. I think they have to have had some previous experience with a drug.
And they pay
to be
you, so
enrolled.
now pot smokers everywhere are running to look at such.
But I think, I don't think you can use drug-naive people. I mean, I don't run human clinical lab studies, so I can't explicitly say it, but that's my understanding, is that someone has to have had even limited, like, not much, but at least once or twice. They have to have experienced the drug before. So I don't know if you would take someone who was completely blind, because I don't know how they would replicate that state
Interesting.
if they're not expecting it.
What about the effects of cannabis on time perception? There's this reputation that cannabis has for disrupting time perception, that people will think a long period of time has passed when in fact very little time has passed. Maybe it's sometimes even the reverse. Is the mechanism by which cannabis can adjust time perception known?
I wouldn't say it's well worked out. There definitely seems to be some like temporal dilation, like you're saying, where people think things have, someone will be high and someone will ask them, how long do you think time has passed? They would report usually longer periods of time have passed than actually have. I feel like there is some older work I could dig up to see if I could find that is either in it might even be in pigeons, but it might be in rodents, that's looking at like temporal ordering, and they give animals cannabinoids, and that's kind of a cleaner way of seeing, because they are very good at learning, like if I wait 10 minutes and then I engage in a behavior, I get a reward. And so you can really train animals to have this ordinal timing where they kind of know distinct periods of time. And if they give them cannabinoids, they respond differently. So in that context, it does still seem to produce some state where there's an altered perception of time passing. And so I think if we were going to really understand the mechanism of it, that would probably be the way to go. But I'm not super familiar with the work, because anything I can think of is pretty old. I can't think of anything modern where people have actually looked at this.
Interesting. You mentioned effects of cannabis on appetite, and I know one of the medical uses of cannabis is in people that are undergoing treatment for cancer in order to stimulate appetite, because oftentimes they have very low or even no appetite due to the cancer treatment. Is the mechanism by which cannabis can stimulate appetite known? And if so, what is the general trend of effect? It makes people hungrier, obviously, but we hear, again, in kind of recreational terms, of people getting the munchies, becoming exceedingly hungry. Is that related to some cannabis-induced effect on, say, blood sugar, like insulin or glucose regulation, or is it happening at a different level?
I think we almost need to take a step back, actually, to talk about how cannabis works in the brain before we kind of go into that. So.
Great.
THC as a molecule exerts almost all its effects. They're acting at this one receptor for the most part that's widely expressed through the brain, called the cannabinoid type 1 receptor.
CB1.
Yeah, CB1 is the shorthand for it. And I think, as people tend to create analogies to describe what receptors are, for those of you who don't know, most people use like a lock and key analogy, that like a receptor would be a protein that sits on a cell, and a molecule that binds to it, like THC, is the key that fits in that lock. When it activates it, it triggers some biological process in the cell, in this case a neuron, that changes its activity in some capacity. And so THC acts on these CB1 receptors, which are very widely expressed. In fact, outside of like kind of ion channels that are expressed in the brain, the CB1 is, I think, one of the most, if not the most widely expressed receptor in the brain. It's everywhere. So it's really important. And I think as kind of you had alluded to previously, it doesn't exist in the, this didn't evolve in humans in the hopes that one day humans would find cannabis. This is just.
Although cannabis users everywhere will use that argument.
I know people love to leverage things. If it's a plant, it's, it's natural and safe. And there's obviously issues we'll talk about with that. But really, this is just biological redundancy. Nature only has so many ways to create something. And so there's going to be things that end up overlapping in the way that they function. And so the receptor that's in the brain and throughout the body, the CB1, and there is also a CB2 receptor. It's not really expressed in the brain. It's in some of the immune cells in the brain, and maybe some limited distribution.
like that's gonna work. Oh God, please don't do that. Max, I've called on you. Now you're a man of silence. Now you were just called on me. You've used my name plenty of times, but that doesn't count on calling on me. Because when you use my name, Amy will answer for me. And like at this point, I'm so frustrated that I just need an amount of time that I'm allowed to talk, so that I can clarify my perspective. Because I've given the respect of not interrupting and not even interjecting. And you, gods fighting me, I understand. Call me Europa. I've been raped by Zeus. Hit me with lightning again. Okay, just call on me again when you can tell me how much time I have. And if you're gonna do this 12-second bullshit, then it's fine. I'll do it in 12 seconds. Max, like you had the stage to talk about anything you wanted, and then you're like, call on me when I have the time and tell me my time. Like, what is this bullshit? Do you not recognize what you're doing? I don't like being struck by lightning. I don't like God spiting me when God has just given me permission to talk. I'm down to be patient until God's down to not spite me anymore. You can call me Job. I've been through enough smiting.
May I suggest something to you?
Wow, that would be fantastic.
Okay. You'd like to include your meta narrative, but in including your meta narrative, you're taking up your own time for the thing that you actually wanted to talk about, and then you never get to it because your meta narrative is so detailed.
Yes. Okay, Max. Take your cue. For permission, man. I gotta jump in and say it, right? Like, you know, Amy said multiple times, like, if you want to just be entertaining, like, Max is gonna do his thing, right? Like, the guy's a magician. You know what I mean? You can't ask him to push out a box. Here's the story with cannabis. As you pointed out, it's going to be the ratio of THC to CBD that's important. Smoking or vaping anything is a nicotine of cannabis, or worse for you than edible addiction. High THC concentration in cannabis is dangerous for the following reasons. Right? First of all, it does have therapeutic applications for glaucoma, pain management, maybe even some mental health acts, ability to help sort of people focus at low dose. But for, in particular, young males in their early teens, and 20s who take high THC containing cannabis, there is a much greater, 4x increase in probability of psychotic episodes later that don't ever reverse. It is clear that cannabis has therapeutic benefits, but very high in potency THC cannabis can be a problem. At the dosage you described, 2.5 milligrams, very unlikely to be a problem. The pure CBD cannabis is interesting too. The so-called Charlotte's Web is a powerful anti-epileptic. In fact, parents of epileptic kids move to Colorado just so they can get Charlotte's Web CBD cannabis. So it's really the percentage of THC relative to CBD that's important, the age of the user, whether or not there's a predisposition to psychosis. Here's the story with cannabis. As you pointed out, it's going to be the ratio. Who is the best person to borrow money from? Steve will do it. Dude, Steve will do it because he gets it. Woke up to a text this morning. And it was him. I guess he won a bunch of money. The night he goes, oh, do you want a loan? Like, I didn't even ask for a loan. He goes, do you want a loan? I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. Like, I'll take 30,000. He sent me 30,000. I put it on a 3-team soccer parlay. I paid $250,000. I sent him back 100,000, and I just got 120,000 for free today. Like, how cool is that? Who is the best person to borrow money from? Steve will do it. Dude, Steve will do it because he gets it. Woke up to a text this morning, and it was him. I guess he won a bunch of money the other night. He goes, oh, do you want a loan? Like, I didn't even ask for a loan. He goes, do you want a loan? I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. Like, I'll take 30,000. He sent me 30,000. I put it on a 3-team soccer parlay. I paid $250,000. I sent him back 100,000, and I just got 120,000 for free today. Like, how cool is that? Who is the best person to borrow money from? Steve will do it. Dude, Steve will do it because he gets it. Woke up to a text this morning, and it was him. I guess he won a bunch of money the other night. He goes, oh, do you want a loan? Like, I didn't even ask for a loan. He goes, do you want a loan? I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. Like, I'll take 30,000. He sent me 30,000. I put it on a 3-team soccer parlay. I paid $250,000. I sent him back 100,000, and I just got 120,000 for free today. Like, how cool is that? Who is the best person to borrow money from? Steve will do it. Dude, Steve will do it because he gets it. Woke up to a text this morning, and it was him. I guess he won a bunch of money the other night. He goes, oh, do you want a loan? Like, I didn't even ask for a loan. He goes, do you want a loan? I'm like, oh, sure. Like, I'll take 30,000. He sent me 30,000. I
I put on a 3-team soccer parlay and paid $250,000. I sent him back 100,000, and I got 120,000. Like, how cool is that? Who is the best person to borrow money from? Steve will do it. Steve will do it because he gets it. Woke up to a text this morning. It was him. I guess he won a bunch of money the other night. He goes, "Oh, you want a loan?" Like, I didn't even ask him. Like, "You want a loan?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, sure. I'll take 30,000." He sent me 30,000. I put on a 3-team soccer parlay and paid $250,000. I sent him back 100,000, and I just got 120,000 for free today. Like, how cool is that? Who is the best person? Have you ever been mobbed? Yeah, unfortunately. How does it happen? I'll be chilling, whatever. They're like 6'7", they got the jawline, the canthal tilt, and I'm like, I can't take a picture with you. This is ridiculous. So it can happen anywhere, especially like for a guy like me that an LTN, you know, like maybe an LTN. Low-time normie. Have you ever been mobbed? Yeah, unfortunately. How does it happen? I'll be chilling, whatever, and fans will tell me, you actually went to the base? I want to do the base. Got a punch in the stomach. No! Just one time. No! Come on. No! Just one. After the fight. Just do it now. You actually went to the base? I want to do the base. Got a punch in the stomach. No! Just one time. No! Come on. No! Just one. After the fight. Just do it now. You actually went to the base? I want to do the base. Got a punch in the stomach. No! Just one time. No! Come on. No! Just one. After the fight. Just do it now. You actually want to do the base? I want to do the base. Got a punch in the stomach. No! Just one time. No! Come on. No! Just one. After the fight. Just do it now. You actually want to do the base? I want to do the base. Got a punch in the stomach. No! Just one time. No! Come on. No! Just one. After the fight. Just do it now. After you lost the $2 million in the coin flip, how was the rest of your day? Very bad. That was one of the worst days ever. I think I laid in bed for about 2 days, didn't touch nobody, didn't do.
It says good. Phantom for me, hold on. Phantom for me. Ooh, Phantom. I don't want that.
I have heard stories out of the Chimaev camp that Chimaev is training so hard and putting it on guys, elite level guys, like nothing you've ever seen before. I have heard Hamzat Chimaev wants people to go so hard with him to try to beat him and submit him and do it. He's king. He doesn't care. I got some guys in the gym that know people that are like, man, this dude, if somebody can submit him, there's like money. Hamzat put the bounty on himself. It's different, and you know, we're going to need some extra security for this fight. I have heard stories out of the Chimaev camp that Chimaev is training so hard and putting. He's afraid of the dark.
I was in a wrist job.
Say it. I want to hear your wrist drop.
I was afraid of the dark until I met you.
I want to cut yours. Sir, I knock you out, then why you hand him on pizza?
What happened? You eating so much? It's like 4 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
Decide to switch touch.
Okay, Spider-Man.
I'm just trying to help you. It looks like you need some spider help.
I don't need no help.
Chad Desinsky. Pitch the Misa.
Hand him on pizza?
What happened? You eating so much? It's like 4 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
Decide to switch touch.
Okay, Spider-Man.
I'm just trying to help you. It looks like you need some spider help.
I don't need no help.
Chad Desinsky. Pitch the Misa.
Hand him on pizza?
What happened? You eating so much? It's like 4 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
Open your eyes. Eyes are open, bro.
What do you mean, bro?
I can see you, bro. Chill.
Okay.
I can see you.
This guy would not survive a diamond gym. That's an eye close.
I'm not sure.
There you go. Open your eyes.
Eyes are open.
understand
Oh,
you.
Kim Congdon, what do you think about this guy?
I feel like he still spelled sleuth on a calculator.
I do.
I feel like you're.
Without a fives at the end.
I feel like your dick smells like a book.
My smells like a magazine. I'm really happy to see you. I saw your set at Sunset Street the other night.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was okay.
That's it. I'm calling immigration. Only one of us can be here.
Rick taking shots at the throne over here.
You look like you shake when you have sex with a woman.
But they like it. Kim Kong, what are the negative benefit or the negative effects of this? This is an explosive area of conversation, and puts my life in danger. So I reserve the right not to answer your question. Whoa, I didn't expect that.
It puts your life in danger talking about portobello mushrooms.
He's looking at me silently. I will respectfully move on. Thank you. So anybody who's interested, just what are the negative benefit or the negative effects of this? This is an explosive area of conversation, and puts my life in danger. So I reserve the right not to answer your question. Whoa, I didn't expect that.
It puts your life in danger talking about portobello mushrooms.
He's looking at me silently. I will respectfully move on. Thank you. So, I'll have bananas. What? King Benny is here just to get show his talent, show his skill, show his finesse. Daisy. I'm there. King Benny is here just to get show his talent, show.
It's not real, kid. Yeah. Even when we do the tongue one, we actually didn't touch. It's all fake for the stream, you know? It's not real, kid. Yeah. Even when we do the tongue one, we actually didn't touch. It's all fake for the stream, you know? It's not real, kid. Yeah. Even when we do the tongue one, we actually didn't touch. It's all fake for the stream, you know? It's not real, kid. Yeah. Even when we do the tongue one, we actually didn't touch. It's all fake for the stream, you know? It's not real, kid. Yeah. Even when we do the tongue one, we actually didn't touch. It's all fake for the stream, you know?
What's up, KSI?
This is ass, bro. This is ass. I waited 45 minutes for this. This was overhyped shit out of my place. Bro, this is insane.
For me, I tried to wisely take one. You know, some people like any. Hey, Flickles! Keep arms away, bro. You're making me insecure. What are you on? Honest question.
Bro.
Golf, what are you on?
Just because I'm as big as your bro doesn't mean I'm on it.
No, you are on something. What are you on?
All natural, buddy.
Okay, show me your back right now. Take the shirt off, show me your back. What the? There's no balcony. Okay, the ultimate test. If you pass this, then you're not on boards.
What?
Pull it back and show me the outline. No! No! That is a flirt! Hey, Flickles,
Hello. Sup?
Morning, buddy.
Morning. Just now woke up, huh?
Yeah, but
Nice, nice. Sup?
come now.
Mm, in 1:45 minutes, I can leave home now.
Okay, buddy, cool.
I'll leave in 45 minutes. I'll be there in 1.5 hours. Cool. See you. Man.
Ten seconds remaining.
in the bag.
Prepare for battle.
Of course we're winning. I'm here.
Thirty seconds to battle.
This little hootenanny's in the gold-line battle. Why am I surrounded by such peons?
The battle begins. Dire's courier has been killed.
Why am I surrounded by such peons?
Fuck.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Where did that go?
Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack. Your bottom 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 tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Your bottom tower has fallen. The enemy's top tower has fallen. Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack.
With a charming personality.
Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack.
What time is it? It's killing time.
Your top tower is under attack. Your top tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack. Your bottom tower is under attack. Your bottom tower is under attack.
I trust everyone on your side.
Radiant's purpose has been hidden.
Missing.
The enemy's middle tower has fallen. The enemy's bottom tower has fallen. Your top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Your top tower is under attack. We can't miss the signals.
What else? Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack. This will cause some confusion. hidden even from the brightest. I'll put that money to good use.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
I have seen the future. You're not in it.
Your top tower is under attack. Your top tower is under attack. Your middle tower has fallen. Your top tower is under attack. Your top tower is under attack.
All I can give us.
structures are fortified. The enemy's middle tower has fallen. Dire structures are fortified.
Time is money.
I'd love to join your next stream and play together on Discord. Yeah, dude. Come. Let's play. Invite me. Invite me. ಹಲೋ ನೀನ್ ಬರಲ್ವಾ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ